now we are exactly at the starting time for the webinar. So without any further delay, let's um, let's talk a bit about the topic that brought us here today. So, sorry, let me just configure something here because I think that okay. So the first thing that it's probably interesting, and if you don't know Caldo, it's important for you to know what is Caldo about. So Caldo is basically an office that exists in Canada, and that was put together by four universities in 2012. So the name Caldo stands for Consortium of Alberta, Laval, Dalhousie, and Ottawa universities. So those were the four founding universities of this group. And the purpose of this office is to assist candidates that are interested in doing graduate studies in any of our universities, and that are also interested in getting to know or exploring financing opportunities for paying studies with agencies in their home countries. So we have agreements in different countries in Latin America, and those agencies for which you have agreements, they issue scholarships or they issue uh, credit like loans, uh, créditos, and some of those can be used for students to study abroad. If you are not among the students that are considering or that are or for which there are no scholarships, we can still advise you on the type of programs that exist in our universities. However, our services are not as comprehensive as when you are also thinking about applying to a scholarship from your home country. So one of the things that you are probably considering is the advantages that you have if you come to Canada. So one of the great things about coming to Canada to study is that for any of our universities, so Caldo right now represents 9 universities, and we will talk about each of them in a few slides. All of our universities are considered to be comprehensive universities, meaning that they have programs in all areas of knowledge. So you will find programs in the areas of science, social sciences, engineering, humanities, arts, and so on. One other great feature about our universities is that they are all also research intensive, meaning that they all offer master, PhD, and postdoctoral programs. One of the good things about the higher education system in Canada is that there is a lot of investment in the universities. So the universities have state-of-the-art laboratories and equipments and professors that will be able to guide any student interested in doing a research master or a PhD in advancing the capacities of doing research. One of the things that most of your colleagues notice when they get to the universities is the availability of the materials and the equipment in the laboratories. So one of the things that they notice is that compared to their home country, when they get here, they feel that they have much more access to materials, access to the machines or to the equipment in the laboratory than if they were doing the same type of research in their home country. So that's a huge advantage. Another great thing about Canada is the fact that the country is very multicultural. So you will find people from all over the place. You will find colleagues from probably your home country. You will find colleagues from Asia. You will find people from Africa, from Europe, from the United States at the universities. And all of that mix of people from different cultures and different countries makes studying in Canada a very unique experience because you don't find that in a lot of places. Also, another thing that it's characteristic of Canada is the fact that there are two official languages, French and English. Most of the Caldo universities are Anglophone, meaning that they offer programs in English. However, there are two universities in the Caldo group that we will talk in a while that are also able to offer programs in French. So now let's look a bit at the Canadian academic system and how do things are organized here. So when compared to your home country, you'll probably find that it's pretty similar. So once you finish your licenciatura or bacharelado, you are able to do a master degree. So in order to get to a master degree, you have to have studied at least 4 years of licenciatura or bacharelado, okay? And you will need to meet the admission requirements that are necessary for the programs. So one of the things that it's important for you to realize is the following. All programs have different admission requirements, meaning that the academic average, the language level is different from all the programs. So you don't have a specific admission requirement that it's the same depending on the university, because the admission requirements are defined by the departments. In Canada, you have two types of master programs. You have research master programs and you have course-based master programs. The research-based, also called thesis-based masters, are the ones for which you need to do research. So you do 1 year of going to classes, and you do the second year of only research, and that's the thesis-based master. The other option is the course-based master. In this program, you don't do research. You go to classes, and you might need to do a small project, but it's not considered to be a thesis. If you are interested in moving on to a PhD, we strongly recommend that you consider doing the thesis-based master, so the master with research, because the professors at the PhD level want students with research experience. And you only gain that experience if you do the thesis-based master. If you do the course-based master, most professors probably won't accept you in a PhD program. Some examples of course-based masters are, for example, MBAs or Masters of Public Health. Some specific programs are offered in the two modalities. So, for example, all of the programs in engineering usually are offered in the thesis-based master and in the course-based master modalities. So you can register either for one or for the other. One important thing is the following. If you choose the thesis-based master, you will need to find or you will need to work with a professor. So it's probably a good idea that when you're applying to the program, you have an idea of which professor you would like to work with, so that you could eventually write him an email or introduce yourself to the professor and have a sense if the professor is available and interested in working with you for a particular type of research. Moving on to PhDs. Once you finish your master's, you are able to apply to a PhD. It's very difficult for anyone to apply directly from a bacharelado to a PhD. Very few professors will accept students that are trying to do this. And the reason is that they want people with research experience. So please take note that if you want to do a PhD, you should have a master's degree. And if you have a master's degree from your home country, that was done at the university that it recognized at your home country, that's fine. You can apply to a PhD in Canada. So the PhD usually lasts between 4 and 5 years. It's something that you do after the master's degree. And one important thing is that for you to apply to a PhD, you need to have a supervisor at the time of the application. This is essential. So you can have the best scores in the world, you can have a huge level of proficiency in English or in French, but if you don't have a supervisor that is willing to accept and work with you at the moment of application, you will not be admitted. So it's extremely important that for PhD programs, you get in contact with a supervisor before you apply. And by getting in touch with a supervisor is one of the services that we assist you with at Caldo. So, in a nutshell, our services are basically at two levels. The first is to let anyone know which are the programs that our universities offer. So that's the first thing. So imagine that someone is interested in neurosciences. So we will let you know exactly which universities offer the program in neuroscience. What is the type of research that you are able to do at the universities? Another set of services that we have is to assist you in getting in touch with the supervisor. However, this service is only available for candidates that will bring financing, that are considering to apply to a scholarship from their home country or to créditos. Okay? So it's not available to a student that wants to get a scholarship from Canada. From those students, we can let you know which programs are available at our universities, but we will not assist you in getting in touch with the supervisor. For the ones that are interested in scholarships from their home country, we can assist you in getting in touch with the supervisor. So, more reasons to choose a Caldo University. So, like I mentioned, all of our universities are comprehensive, meaning that they offer programs in all areas of knowledge. They all have, and they all share the highest academic standards of any university in North America. So, if you come to study at any of the Caldo universities, you will have to exactly meet the same requirements as any top university in the North America or in Europe. Um, Caldo is able to save you a lot of time by providing you support in finding programs, finding the admission requirements, assisting you with tips on how to contact supervisors. And also our universities have language schools. So the language schools is a extremely useful resource if you need to improve your level of English or your level of French. However, our recommendation is that at the moment of application, when you're applying to a program, you should already meet the minimum level of language that the program requires. So the most used tests for English are the Toefl Ibt or the IELTS Academic, and for French are the DELF or TFI. Usually, for the Toefl Ibt, you should have a score of 88 or more. That would be a good range, 88 or more. For the IELTS, if you have 7 or higher, would be excellent because it would meet the requirements of most programs. Now let's look at the universities. So let's start with the University of Alberta. The University of Alberta is located in the province with the same name. So Canada has 10 provinces, and the University of Alberta is located in the province with the same name in the city of Edmonton. So the province of the University of Alberta is the Caldo University that usually ranks the highest in any ranking of world universities from the Caldo group. So it's usually among the top 100 universities in the world. It's home to excellent research facilities such as the National Institute for Nanotechnology. It's a top university for areas of health sciences, pharmacy, and education. And they have they offer some of the most comprehensive number of programs that you can think of. So they are present they have options in very different types of programs. One of the great things about the University of Alberta is that if you are interested in studying in the energy field, so mainly petroleum and gas, this is one of the few universities in Canada that has that option. So if that's something of interest to you, they could definitely be a very good option. Anyway, the university in general is excellent in a lot of different areas, as you will be able to see if you navigate through our website and look at the different research areas for university. In the same province, we also find the University of Calgary. The University of Calgary is a university that is relatively new, so it's 50 years old. And they are already one of the top universities in North America for the areas of biomedical research, mainly neurosurgery, joint repair, and stem cell production. Also, as the University of Alberta, since they are in the province that explores the oil and gas in Canada, they have a huge reputation in the areas of energy. Not only fossil energy, but also clean energy. And they are one of the few universities that offers specific programs such as the doctoral program in architecture or in veterinary sciences. Going to Halifax. Halifax sits just beside the Atlantic Ocean, so it's on the east side of Canada. The city of Halifax, it's a wonderful city, and it's home to Dalhousie University. Dalhousie University is one of the top universities in the world in the areas of ocean studies, just because they sit just beside the Atlantic Ocean. They have one of the top laboratories in that field, that it's called the Aquatron Laboratory, and they also have Other very, very relevant areas such as agriculture and computer science as some of the areas of expertise of the university. Université Laval. Université Laval sits in the wonderful city of Quebec City. Université Laval is the Francophone University of Caldo, so it's the university that offers the most programs in French. And it's one of the universities that offers the most amount of programs in general. They have a huge offering of programs in masters and PhD, and some programs are very specific to Laval, such as, for example, masters in marketing. And because they offer most programs in French, they are one of the top choices in North America for anyone that wants to study in French. They are also one of the top universities in the fields of forestry. And they offer specific programs such as programs in the areas of agriculture and other programs that are not usually found very easily at the Caldo universities, such as I was mentioning before, masters in marketing, for example. University of Ottawa. The University of Ottawa sits in the federal capital of Canada. So the University of Ottawa is a bilingual university. What does that mean is that it's the university that offers the most programs in English and in French. So they try to offer the program in both languages, which is something remarkable. And they are the only option of Caldo universities where you can actually, in the same program, go to classes in English and go to classes in French. But obviously, you only do that if you feel that you want to do that. Either way, you can attend the program in English or in French. The University of Ottawa is ranked as one of the top universities in Canada in the areas of health sciences, law, and political studies. The area of political studies and governance and public administration obviously is because the university sits in the federal capital of Canada, so the government is just beside, and the university has specialized in those fields. Moving on to Kingston. In Kingston, we find Queen's University. Queen's University is one of the most ranked universities in Canada and not only in Canada, in the world, in the areas of business, for example. They are usually considered one of the top universities to do management programs or MBAs. In 2015, a professor from Queen's received the Nobel Prize for Physics. And the university also has other areas of expertise, such as education and the Cancer Research Center in Canada, that it's one of the leading research centers in the areas of cancer in North America. Moving on to the city of Saskatoon. Saskatoon sits in the province of Saskatchewan. So the province of Saskatchewan is considered to be the barn of Canada. So it's where the most agricultural production takes place. And because of that, the university has developed a huge expertise in the fields of crops and in the fields of veterinary science also. So the University of Saskatchewan is a leading university worldwide in the areas of veterinary science and also in the areas of agriculture. The University of Waterloo. This university sits in the city with the same name. And this university is one of the leading universities in Canada in the areas of computer science, mathematics, and anything that has to do with informational technology. Waterloo is the university that has the biggest computer science department in Canada. And it's no surprise that in the city of Waterloo, a lot of high-tech companies are building offices because of the university. So the university has developed such a huge reputation in the areas of computer science that a lot of companies, instead of recruiting their students to go work abroad, they bring the offices to Waterloo or the nearby area so that they can use the resources from the university. They are also one of the leading universities in the areas of mathematics, and they have one of the world's best water research institute that it's applied to different areas to study water. And finally, Western University. Western University is located in the city of London, Ontario. Western is one of the leading universities in the country for specific areas such as business, for example. They have one of the top MBAs and management programs in the world. They also have top programs in the areas of geography, medicine, and chemical engineering. In addition to that, they have also a huge reputation in the areas of neuroscience and psychology. They have the Brain and Mind Institute, that it's one of the top institutes for neurosciences in Canada. And they have actually, some months ago, they were doing a global study on sleeping habits for which anyone online could participate. And the study was being conducted by several universities, but led by Western University. So other important and interesting indicators. Within the top 160 universities in the world for employability, we find 5 Caldo universities: Waterloo, Calgary, Alberta, Queens, and Western. So this is information that it's collected by an agency called QS. So QS does does ranking of universities, and they also do rankings of indicators related to universities. And one of those indicators is exactly employability. So employability has been obviously is key for students that are looking for programs, and it's very good to know that our universities are among the top universities in the world for employability. Not only that, but also internationalization. So within the top 150 most international universities in the world, we find Alberta and Waterloo in the 31st and 34th position, which is a huge sign of the relevance of how international these universities are. So one of the things that I would like to just highlight is the fact that when you contact Caldo, we are here to assist you. So our services are free. You don't need to pay anything for our services. We are part of the university, so we are not an agency. We are an office that the university has created, and our role is to assist you with any questions and doubts that you have. Like I said, all of our services are located our office is located in Canada. So all of our services are provided via email or via Skype call or a phone call. So you are free. You can write us in your native language, in Spanish or in Portuguese, and we can definitely assist you with finding programs and giving you tips and information on how to apply to any program. One very useful resource is our website. Our website is found at www.caldo.ca and has a set of tools that is useful for anyone that is applying. So our website was created on March this year. So it's a website that it's entirely dedicated to assisting candidates. So anyone that is interested in applying to one of our universities will find a lot of useful information in the website. And if you want to contact us, you can send us an email to the address that you see here. So graduate.coordinator@caldo.ca. You can, in a first contact, we would like you to tell us which country are you from, which program are you looking for, and if you are considering to apply to any scholarship from your own country. And from then on, we will try to guide you the best way possible in terms of which are the programs that are available to you, which are the admission requirements that you need to meet, what type of tests you need, and so on. So right now, let me just close this window. Let me just see if I am able to share my screen with you, because I would like just to see if I could show you our website. But if that's not possible, what we will do is basically just move on to the question and answer period. And like I said at the beginning, you can write your questions in Portuguese or in Spanish, and we will and I will reply in English. So please feel free to write down any questions that you may have, because I am not able to share my screen with you at this moment. If that changes, I will probably. Okay, just a moment. I think I'm able to do it now. Okay. So I believe that all of you can see the Caldo website now. Um, so basically, I would just like to highlight three main sections. So as you can see, there's a menu on the top, and you have in here studying in Canada. Studying in Canada has a lot of useful information about preparing to come to Canada, living in Canada, our cities, and testimonies. So testimonials of students that have studied at our universities from different countries. Our universities, like the name says, is about the Caldo universities, and you will find information about each of them. And I would like to highlight this section here, research areas. The research areas are is a section of the website that we did recently. So this has probably little more than no, but 2 months. And what we did was the following: we took all the areas that were the most popular from where we received questions, and we put them in this section so that you have access to the direct research links for each of the areas. So for example, let's imagine that you're interested in engineering. So you will come here at the engineering, and you will find several types of engineering mentioned here. You are specifically interested in mechanical engineering. So you come here, you click, and you will be directed to the website of each of our universities that has the program of mechanical engineering. So for example, let's take a look at Alberta. If you click here, there will be a new window that will open, and you will be directed exactly to the research area of the University of Alberta. And you have in here the different areas of mechanical engineering. Afterwards, it's just a matter of just clicking in the area of your interest and read more about the area and about the professor. So for example, if you click in biomechanical, you can read a bit about the area, and then you have access to the professors here. So this is a very useful tool for you to save time and to be directed to the information that you're looking for. So that's the research areas. One other very interesting tool is our tools to apply. It's called exactly like that, tools to apply. Tools to apply has a series of resources that have been identified as being the ones that most candidates need the most. So information about language schools, about how to find and contact a supervisor, about how to write a statement of research, which type of master program is more suitable for you, how to write an academic CV, equivalencies to the grades that you have in your country and the grades that you need to apply to our universities, which type of language tests you will require, and in here you have videos. So our webinars are usually put here, or other videos of interest. Everything that it's new and happening with Caldo is advertised in our news and events. So visits to countries that we do, or webinars that we do, or calls that take place with our partner countries. So one thing that it's also a very good thing for anyone to know is the steps to apply. The steps to apply is basically a four steps menu where you will get an idea of how most candidates, what are the things that most candidates should look for when they are thinking about applying to a graduate program in Canada. So the first step is finding a program. The second step is finding financing. The third step is finding a supervisor if required. If you're applying, for example, to a thesis-based master or a doctoral program, this is a good tool. If you're applying to a course-based master, it doesn't have any research, so you don't need the supervisor, so you don't need this step 3. And the step 4 is apply to university. So let's go back to the chat box. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the chat, and I will read some of the questions that you are mentioned here. So I saw that someone is asking here about the contact information. So don't worry about my contact information, because tomorrow all of you will receive an email from the with the indication of which is the contact that you can use, and also which with the video of today's presentation. So all of you will receive it. However, the contact for the office is graduate.coordinator@caldo.ca, and I will be putting the last slide afterwards so that you have that information. So Isabel is asking, what is the cost of the process with you? So Isabel, like I mentioned, Caldo, the Caldo services are free. Okay, so there is no cost. So Casio actually replied. So thank you. Is it possible to apply to a co-op program with this university? So Fabian, the co-op programs usually are at the undergraduate level, so at licenciatura or bacharelado. Since we only work with masters and PhDs, usually co-op programs do not apply. However, some of our university programs might have that option. But you would need to send us an email exactly mentioning which program you're interested in, and we could clarify with the university if co-op is an option. So Lucivan is asking, where can I find which master are available and if I need to do research chosen to apply. So Lucivan, send us an email. It's the easiest way to see if a program is available. Is just send us an email with what you're looking for, and we will let you know. Cesar is asking, I got a band 6 IELTS. I am looking for University of Ottawa. So Cesar, an IELTS 6 is usually a bit low. Like I said at the beginning, I would recommend at least a 7. However, depending on the program that you're looking for, some programs might accept 6.5. However, 6, I don't know of any program that accepts a 6. So you would probably need to improve up to a 6.5. But what I would advise you to do is the following. If you want, send me an email and let me know exactly which program from Ottawa you're looking for, and we will see which is the language requirement. So Tiago is asking, is there any course related to international relationship for an affair from a specific university? Yes, definitely, Tiago. We have universities that offer international relations and programs related to that, not exactly with this name. For example, Ottawa as programs in that area. I believe that probably Dalhousie also. But one of the difficult things about the question and answer period for me is that I don't know all programs by heart. So our universities offer more than 3,000 programs, so I'm not able to have them all at the top of my head. So please send me an email and I can send you a more detailed list. Joanne is writing us from Colombia, and she's interested in applying to a PhD in environmental management or sustainability. She has a master's from the UK. I want to apply for a scholarship, but I need to take my family with me. Is there a scholarship that covers family expenses? So, Joanna, in Colombia, there's an agency called Ciencias that they provide some scholarships for PhD programs. I believe that they would have an additional for families, but usually it's not too much money that they give in addition. However, one of the great things about studying in Canada is that if you come here with your family, your partner can you can have a work permit to be able to work while you're studying here. So that could help. However, it's not guaranteed that he will have a job right away. So that's always something that families will need to consider, is that they will probably need to live in the first month with just the scholarship money or with personal funds. Yes, man. is asking that professors won't reply to my email unless they see my application first, which means I should pay the fees before I get an answer. You said that first you should contact the professor. So Yasmin, it depends. There are professors that don't reply to you, even if you bring a scholarship. They are so busy and they probably don't are accepting students, so that can be a reason. However, most professors, if they are interested and they have availability, they will reply to students. However, what I would advise is the following. Don't just write to one professor. Try to see if you have at least two or three that are of interest to you. If you don't get a reply on the first email, try a second email 1 week after or so. Sometimes professors are abroad in congresses or they are not in their offices during the week. So these things take time. So you need to be persistent and try more than once. And if it doesn't work with that professor, try another one. George Armando, scholarship from Master for Mexican students. So, Jorge, in Mexico, there's an agency called CONACYT that provides master scholarships. There's also another called FIDER that provides créditos. So those are two options for scholarships for masters. Our universities, they also provide scholarships. However, as you can imagine, the process is super competitive. There are people from all over the world trying to get to the scholarships. So if you're a really good student, definitely you can apply to you can try one scholarship from Canada. However, it's something that it's not easy to get, as you can imagine. Antonio, I took the TOEFL IBT March. I got score 78, but Alberta requires 88. What should I do? So Antonio, in that case, what you need to do is you need to retake the test. There is no other option. Unfortunately, if you don't meet the minimum, it's very difficult that you get admission. So my advice would be that you take some time to practice the test so that you feel comfortable that you have the minimum, that you can get the minimum grade. Do a lot of simulations of the test before doing it again. So my advice is don't go running to take another test just now, or well, you took it in March, so if you practice since then, probably by now you should feel more confident. But if you don't feel confident that you can get a much higher score, take some time to still practice more. And once you are feeling more comfortable, take the test again. Veronica, if I have not done research before, I'm likely to be able to enter to a master's degree with thesis. How should we approach the teacher when making contact with the research professor? How many professors of the same university could be convenient to contact? How far in advance? Okay, so let's reply to all of those things. Yes, if you have not done research in your bacharelado or licenciatura, don't worry. It's fine. The master is supposed to be an intermediate stage, so professors are not expecting students to be experts with research at master level. To contact supervisors, one of the great things that I would advise you is to go to our website and take a look at the tools to apply in the find and contact a supervisor. The general idea is the following. When you're contacting a professor, you need to contact him like you were looking for a job. So you need to make yourself um, interesting for the professor to read about you and to want to know you. So you have to basically let him know why you want to work with that professor, what is the type of project that you would like to do, and you should write to the professor. I would say, so for example, to start, now the next starting period is September 2018. So this is an excellent time to start contacting professors if you want to start in September, because the admission period for programs to September is now in the first months of the year. So it's between December and March. So this is an excellent time to contact professors. Liliana, por sugerencia de uma pessoa da Queens, escrevi a dos supervisores, pero nenhum deles me ha respondido a que puedo hacer. So Liliana, like I mentioned, if the professor didn't reply to you, try to send another email. That's the first thing that I would say. Another alternative is that you contact the program coordinator. So all programs have a person that is the program coordinator. That person can eventually assist you or give you tips if the professor is available, if the professor is at the university or not. So I would suggest these two things. First, try to resend an email to the professors and see if they reply to the second one. And second, try to contact the program coordinator that you can also find. If you don't find this information, send me an email. Send me the contact of the which department are you trying to reach? So which program? And if you're thinking to apply to a scholarship from CONACYT or from a scholarship from your own country, also mention that when you're contacting a professor. Alberto Gomes, what's the process to apply as in co-sponsor of CONACYT for Mexican students? So Alberto, the agreement that we have with CONACYT is that candidates from Mexico can apply to PhD programs and masters with research. Okay, the master needs to be with research. So basically what you need is that you need to contact you need to get an admission letter from one of our universities. And for that, you need to apply, you need to be accepted. And with that admission letter, you can apply to CONACYT. Now, one thing that it's important is that if you're applying to a master program this year in 2017, CONACYT only had master scholarships uh, alongside the, the Departamentos Federativos, the provinces of Mexico. So the becas al extranjero de CONACYT, they did not have scholarships for masters, only for PhDs. So all of the masters were present at the departamentos, at the provinces of Mexico only. So if you don't know where to look for this information, you can send me an email and I can forward you the link where you can find which were the areas that each province in Mexico was giving out scholarships. Isabel Rocha, scholarships for PhD, how to request. So the scholarships for PhD, you should have, like I said, first of all, in Canada, if you are interested in a scholarship from Canada, most of the scholarships are offered by the professors. The professors are the ones that have the research funding. And because they have the research funding, they are the ones that define which students they want to give out the research funding or the scholarship. So the first thing is that you write to a professor and you introduce yourself, you give them an idea of what you want to do in your research, and hopefully the professor will show an interest. And if he shows an interest, you can start discussing possibilities of financing your studies. If you are interested in applying to a scholarship from your own country, we have partners. We have a lot of options from different countries. So just write us an email and let us know which country you're from, and we can give you an idea of which are the options. So we have several questions here. So Teresa, you're mentioning that you don't know where the medical genetics requirements are to apply for the master. So write me an email with that, because I can send you the link where you can find that information. Raul says, I don't have the Toefl Ibt. Do you have any pre-course in order to achieve the Toefl Ibt score? So Raul, my advice, like I mentioned before, is that if you can do the test in your home country and get the minimum score, that's the ideal. Our universities have language schools. However, if you want to come to Canada to study language, you can also do it. However, obviously, it will be much more expensive because you will need to live here for several months. So my advice would be that you try to get some classes to prepare you for the Toefl Ibt in your home country, or even online resources that you can use to prepare for the test. If you're interested in coming to Canada to improve language, send me an email and I can give you an idea of the different schools and options. Diego, what are the dates to apply for master graduate programs? So Diego, the deadlines for applying, and this is for everyone, for most programs are between December and March. So between the end of the year and the first 3 months of the following year, it's where most of the deadlines are are set to apply to start in September. Some programs, if they offer the possibility of starting in January, you can apply mid-year, around April. So depending on the program that you're looking for, and you can send me an email and we can confirm that. I can let you know exactly what is the deadline for the program that you're interested in. So another question. Danielle is asking, if I study a master degree in Brazil, I can study the master degree before Caldo. So Danielle, I'm not entirely sure what you're asking here, but if you did a master degree in Brazil, you can apply to a PhD in Canada, or you can apply to another master. It's up to you. And please note that Caldo is not mandatory. So Caldo is here to assist you. You don't need to use Caldo to apply. Caldo is a resource that will help you find the information that you need, gather the documents, or understand which documents you need, how to contact the supervisor, and then everyone applies in the university website, just like any other student. So Joshua, like I mentioned, Caldo, you're not applying through Caldo. Caldo is a support structure. It's here para providenciar apoyo, not for the application process, not for the postular a la universidad. But we provide information on all universities at the same time. So if you're interested in mechanical engineering or any program, we can give you an idea of all the universities' options, and you can take a look and see which one do you find most interesting for you. So Lillian, I think you're asking, is it possible to work while doing a PhD in Canada? Sort of. You can work in part-time. You have, I think it's up to 18 hours a week. But obviously those are immigration requirements, so those things can change from year to year. So, but I think right now it's 18 hours per week that PhD students can work. Gardeniu, you have the Toefl Ibt, not the you have the Toefl ITP, not the IBT. Can I use this test to apply? Unfortunately, no, Gardeniu. You need the IVT. The ITP is not recognized for graduate studies in North America. So Adrian, I wish to apply to Master Cancer Sciences in University of Alberta. Do I need to have research experience? I have a bachelor in medicine. No, Adriana, you don't need to have research experience unless the professor requires that. So the idea here is the following. Depending on the professor that you want to work with, it can require that you have research experience or not. So my suggestion is always the same, is that once you talk with the professor, or you try to reach the professor or the program coordinator to confirm this information, but usually you don't need research experience to apply to a master program. Alonso, you're asking about environmental science programs at our universities. So Alonso, for all questions related to programs, please send me an email, because I can provide you the links to the programs in that area from our different universities. Marco is asking that he has background in research, but he doesn't have any publication. He got an IELTS of 7. How hard is to find PhD program, supervisor for a PhD program without any publication? Marcos, the professors, they don't just look at the publications, they look at the series of things. And I think the most important thing is why you want to work with a particular professor. If the professor finds that you want to work with something that is of interest to the professor, he might not be very interested if you add publications or not. He will probably be interested in working with you. So I wouldn't be overly concerned with having publications. Carlos, if I get a scholarship from CONACYT, am I still able to get a scholarship from Canada? Carlos, maybe. Basically, what I mean is, if you get some sort of additional assistance, you will need to inform CONACYT what you have in addition, and probably they will need to adjust your scholarship afterwards. So, but those are things that only CONACYT is able to answer 100%. So, Tiago, does Caldo help? Does Caldo not help international students to seek Canadian funding? What we do with international students that want funding from Canada is we only give you an idea of the programs that are available and how to contact professors and so on. But we are not actively looking for scholarships in Canada for candidates. And like I said, most of the scholarships or most of the financial assistance come directly from the professors. So the person that has the power to make the decision is always the supervisors. So let me just see if there's something here that I haven't answered yet. Because some of the questions that you're asking outside of the ones that I replied are similar. So Andrea is asking, what are the best organizations to provide financing aid in Colombia? So in Colombia, Andrea, you have several. So for PhDs, you have Colciencias. For masters, you have Colfuturo, ICTex. There are also options. Colfuturo and ICTex are a bit of Credito Beca. It's a bit of both. Casio, is there any agencies beside CAPES and CNPq from Brazil? Casio, unfortunately, the only other agency that I know is something called Fundação Estudar, but it's not the same. So, unfortunately, in Brazil, outside of CAPES and CNPq, there is not much else that I know of, unfortunately. So let me see if you have anything else here. So Raul is asking about the best university to study a PhD in biology sciences. So Raul, it depends on what you want to do. So depending on the research that you want to do, the universities might change. So for example, I can tell you, Alberta is the top ranked university in Canada and one of the top and one of the best in the world, and they offer biology. So go there because they have the best program. No, it doesn't work like this. So basically, the best university for you will be the one that has the professor that it's doing what you want to do, or that is the professor that you feel that it's a good fit for you. So once again, I would suggest that if you go to our website in the research areas, that resource that I just showed before starting the question and answer, we have biology there, and you can see all the research areas for biology sciences. Ignacio is asking about the IELTS. Yes, the IELTS and the TOEFL, they only have a duration of 2 years. So that's unfortunately it's not that after 2 years you will forget everything that you learned, but yes, it's true. You will need to have the test for less than 2 years. Veronica is mentioning here some requirements. So GPA B minus average, which should be average of 70% in the last 2 years of study. If I do not comply with this requirement, what can I do? So Veronica, usually you're right. Most of the programs, they require an average of the last 2 years of study around 70%. Okay. If you don't meet that requirement, you can get in touch with the program coordinator to see if they have accepted students with less than that in the past. Usually what they will tell you is that they will only be able to confirm that 100% once all the applicants have submitted their application. But usually if you don't have 70% or more, it's not easy to get admission. That's basically what you could try to do is either improve your grades by taking some extra courses, or get in touch with the university to see if there's any flexibility in that regard, which usually there isn't. But like I said, you can always ask. So Veronica is asking if there's any Caldo University for physicians looking to apply to medical residency. So Veronica, medical residency is something so specific that you will need to contact the medical schools directly. All of our universities, with the exception of Waterloo, have medical schools, so you can do residency. So they all offer residency in a very different type of areas. So depending on which university you're interested, I would suggest that you would get in touch with them. Liliana, do you recommend to apply to more than one university? So every time you apply to one program, you will have to pay the application fee, which is around $100 Canadian. If you don't mind paying the application fee more than once, sure, you could apply to more than one, because like that you improve your chances of success. However, if the main thing is that you meet the admission requirements, okay? So if you're applying to several universities and you don't meet the admission requirements for any of them, there's no point in applying to all the 9. So Murilo, if I know any program in Brazil that offers scholarship for masters. Unfortunately, no, Murilo. Brazil is a bit of it's frustrating because CAPES and CNPq, they offer scholarships mostly for PhD programs and postdocs, but not for master program, which is a shame. Like I mentioned before, there's Fundação Estudar, but they offer financial assistance for very specific programs. Jacqueline is asking, não entendo inglês, no caso das minhas adolescentes aos anos de idade, me gostaria de saber se há cursos que pueda aplicar e como se aplica. So, Jacqueline, para aplicar a nuestras universidades, usted tiene de cumplir con el requisito de idioma. Si usted no habla inglés, no es posible la admisión. Y su cuestión no comprendo si es una cuestión para usted o para una otra persona. Más eso es fundamental, es el dominio del idioma. Adriana is asking which university could have research in pregnancy. So, Adriana, we would need to look into this. So if you can send me an email, let me know what you studied before. Let me know which country are you from, and we can look into this, because I'm not able to give you an answer at this moment based on what you're mentioning there. Gabrielle is asking if I have a list of universities Mexican that can apply for a master in language or related English teacher improvement. So Gabriel, I'm not sure I understood your question, but some of our universities offer programs for English as a second language, so for people that want to teach English abroad. So that if you're interested in those types of programs, you can contact me. So Alberto, how much does it cost a PhD? Okay, let's talk a bit about this. So from usually PhD programs, you only get admission in most of the cases in 2 ways. Either if you bring a scholarship from your own country, or if you get a scholarship from the professor in Canada. A student that pays for his own PhD is not very common. However, the fees for PhDs are around $14,000 a year, around that, Canadian dollars. Okay, but like I said, usually students will come in and they will have some sort of financial assistance from the professors here, or from a scholarship from their own country. So Joanna is asking if the GRE or the GMAT tests are required for management. No, for environmental management. In most cases, no, Joanna. The GRE, GMAT are usually required for business programs, or for masters or PhDs in management, just in management, or for specific programs like, for example, PhDs in computer science, or in mathematics, or in economics. Okay, so in areas that are more related to numbers and mathematics. So we are now reaching the end of our time, so I will just take the time to answer to another question, but probably feel free to send me an email if I didn't reply to your question, or if you have other things that you would like to know. So Tiago is asking if there's a site where a position for doctorals are available. Tiago, unfortunately, no. Our universities, they don't keep any database of professors and areas which are available. The only one that I know that does that to some extent is Calgary. However, most of the others, they don't do it. So you will need to talk with the professors individually and get a sense if they are interested in working with you or not, because there is no database that will tell you these professors are available for this area, because these things change very frequently. So it would be very hard to keep such a thing always up to date. So right now I would like to thank you for your time. Um, like I said, my contact information is graduate.coordinator@caldo.ca. I'm going to put in here the last slide. Okay, so as you can see there, it's this. You can write to this email, and you can send me questions related to programs. You can send me questions related to admission requirements, to coming to Canada, and we will try to assist you in any way possible. Like I mentioned, all of our services are free, so don't worry. You will not need to pay anything to contact us at Caldo. And we are more than happy if you write us in Spanish or in Portuguese. So thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the day and the rest of the week. And if you need anything from us, let us know. Thank you so much.